Hello, this is Audio Heads, and we are geeks assembled together today, and we are here to discuss an 11th Doctor audio adventure from Doctor Who, of course, and it's the 11th Doctor Chronicles, and there are 4 stories written by 4 different writers. It's 2 of them, one starring Simon Fisher-Becker as Dorian Moldavar, and one starring what's his name, Tony something. Anyway,
Danny Horn,
and he's
Kazran.
He's Kazran Sardik, the middle of the road Kazran Sardik, not the kid or not the grown up, but anyway, from the Doctor Who Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And so in this, we see the Doctor, one with Amy, one without, and one with Kazric, and one with Clara. So there's like hop, skipping, and jumping through the Doctor's timeline. And there's a lot of narration, which I'm certain my cohort here, co-podcaster here will mention at some great length. And also the fact that he's not incredibly fond of any of the most recent Doctors, but we'll just see what he has to say. Hey Lee, how's it going? Tell me what you thought of the 11th Doctor Chronicles.
Oh joy. Well, surprise, but I picked this one.
I know you did.
I did, yes, because I wanted to give it a chance. I mean, I have listened to it before, but this will be my second listening to it. And yes, narration. This is, for me, the narration is the drawback for me on this. You've got the wonderful, talented Jacob Dudman playing the 11th Doctor. It's like
Amy and Clara.
Yeah, well, it's like you've got Matt Smith in the room. He just sounds so much like him.
Yeah,
but
he really does.
But when he's doing Clara and Amy, this is where it annoys me.
All right.
I just don't see the point in doing this sort of thing on audio when you've got actors who can do the voices justice. Why have the narration? Why have this? Which, bear in mind, this is the first volume. The second volume, which came out, was it last year?
Yeah.
Went totally audio drama.
Yeah.
They dropped all the narration.
Yep.
And for me, the box set was a vast improvement because of that. Okay. It was just like a normal 11th Doctor adventures. Without Matt Smith, of course, but you've got Jacob doing a spot on job. Yeah. And this is why narration annoys me so much. But apart from that, these are well-written stories. Yeah. And with the few handful of actors who are in this, they do the best what they can with with this small amount of actors in this. So that's my opening thoughts. See, it wasn't that bad, was it? You see, I didn't really attack it that much. No, you didn't. That is sort of surprising. The thing that I was noticing about these audios was that it was trying to tell the story of how the Doctor got so old and so stinking tired. It's bounding
this one that started off acting like a Tigger.
Uh-huh.
These are what made him really tired. I mean, he was confronted with that one creature in the light, and then there was confronted with the morass of strange creatures down below at the bottom of this tree.
Mhm.
And then there was also hang on a second. There was the one where there's a responding to Jane Austen, or Jane Austen needing to write the end of the story of this this imprisonment situation in London, and then but it all starts off with the Calendar Man, and the Calendar Man is the mist. It starts off and it ends. It's bookmarked by the idea that the people writing stories can change the universe. And I also like the little throws to some of the other people who are contiguous in terms of time with these stories as well. Like the B form in the Jane Austen story of maybe the one who was there with Agatha Christie too.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was like crossovers or connective tissue between the Doctor and his like Doctor and the 10th Doctor, or Doctor and the 10th Doctor, and then Doctor and then well, his later self anyway. It's really, really cool. And I thought they were well told tales, and I like how properly scary the situations were, how full of fraught and danger and peril. So that was fun. Anyway, what were your favorite moments, or what were things that you, besides the narration, just give me your favorite moments, Lee.
Well, the Calendar Man hit that one where he was trying to do Amy, totally lost me on that. But the villain of the piece, the Calendar Man, turns out it's some ancient thing from Gallifreyan history. But every time the Calendar Man's about, it's the tick-tocking, the tick-tock, tick-tick-tick of a clock.
Yeah.
That's brilliantly done.
Yeah, it is.
It is, and that adds to the atmosphere of the story. See, the top of the tree when he's with Kazran is a good story. Where they're on this huge tree, falling down the tree, stuck in the tree, which is quite comedic. This is more of a comedic one with just the two-hander of these two with their arms stuck in this whatever it is on the tree, and
it's kind of like mossy stuff, but it's slightly carnivorous, and the sap burning them. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's cleverly written.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that one. Lightkeepers with Dorium, the big blue guy.
Yeah.
I wasn't much of a fan of him in the TV series anyway, but I always thought he was a one-trick pony. Yeah, that's. I think for me, this is the least favorite of the four. I mean, it's got some good elements in it, but yeah, it's not my favourite one. But the acting, I can't fault the acting. And then you get False Coronets with the Jane Austen. There's a temporal anomaly where things have changed.
Yeah.
You know, Jane Austen's imprisoned. Played by what's the actress's name? Natalie Buscum. Really well played by her. I'd say.
How did you like the insinuation that she and Clara were an item?
I thought it was a bit forced. It didn't need to be there.
Okay.
To be honest, I mean, I think they tried to do that in the TV series near the end of Clara's run. You know, team her up with was it Me?
Yeah.
Team her up with, yeah, that's it. I mean, people forget was she engaged to Danny Pink?
Yeah.
Yeah, people forget that. But then you start writing things like this in stories, and it didn't. And I didn't like the portrayal of Clara by Jacob in this either.
Okay.
I think Jacob should just stick to doing the 11th, because I've heard his 10th and I've heard his 12th, and they're not very good. But he's spot on with his 11th.
Yeah, all right, I could see that, and
hopefully, I mean, there'll be another box.
There would be there are other actors who do send-ups of David Tennant and send-ups of Peter Capaldi also. I mean, you could even get, you could get Ferguson, whatever his name is, Colin Ferguson. No, that's not it. The one who did the American TV show.
Craig.
What?
Craig
Ferguson. Yeah, you could have Craig do Peter Capaldi, because they sound the same, and they were in the same band. They're like the same kind. They're cut from the same cloth. I mean, like that would work.
All right, yeah, you would do, but yeah, I think Jacob just should stick to doing the 11th, and hopefully, in the not too distant future, you could get a good multi-doctor story.
Yeah.
Because you say we've got Tennant, we've got all the past doctors what are still with us.
Yep.
We've got Eccleston now.
Yes, I know.
That would be a damn good story. It could be a couple of box sets.
Yeah. Good.
Because we are still waiting for Matt Smith and Capaldi to give in.
I think it will be easier at this point to get Matt Smith than it would be to get Peter Capaldi after he's done with this Game of Thrones prequel.
Yeah.
He'll be.
I did also, going back to the stories, as you've said, we're flitting through the Doctor's timeline.
Yeah, it's not all one.
No, it's
just bookended by two stories about people writing the Calendar Man and the Agatha, the Jane Austen.
Yeah.
Sense and Sensibility, that lady.
But I like the way each story, whereabouts in the timeline of the Doctor it is, because the theme music, as the 11th Doctor's era went along, the theme music slightly changed.
Yeah, it did.
Not much, but it did. You could tell the difference from season to season.
Yep.
As you get further along with maybe the last two stories, the theme music has changed slightly, so it's further along its timeline. Which I thought, well, that's a like little Easter egg there, because sometimes they just use one theme, don't they? And
sure, especially with the 8th Doctor.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, great writing, great acting for the handful of actors what are in this. I mean, you've got to say fair dues to Jacob Dudman to not only do the Doctor in this, but also try and attempt to do Amy and Clara. But also, he was doing a hell of a lot of other things in these audios.
Yeah, there was all sorts of voices that he was.
He was doing a lot of voices. But yeah, for me, he gets a great thumbs up for a great portrayal of the 11th.
Yeah, all right. And what do you think of what do you think of the addition, the further addition to Gallifreyan mythology or mysticism or whatever with the Calendar Man?
I mean, you could add anything to Gallifreyan lore, history, anything.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you write it down, put it in there, that's it. It's always been there.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, like they did with the gender change.
Yeah, and
I mean, it was never. Yeah, it was never.
And the TARDIS, like the Doctor's timeline being his grave. I mean, there was a lot of weird things that they did with Gallifrey that Moffat did, and that the 11th that had to do with the 11th Doctor that were really strange, you know. Yeah. The kind of, I mean, that whole rip in space and time, and like the fact that it was like the TARDIS blowing up and stuff, like I don't know. I just thought that I was really intrigued by the new thing to do with Gallifrey, because I like my friend Ramona really enjoy a good Gallifreyan story, something to do with the history and the civilization of Gallifrey.
I mean, I don't mind them adding to the history of it, as long as they don't completely bodge it and change it so much it's unrecognizable to what everybody knows and what's gone before.
Yeah.
If they change it too much, then
well, what do you like? Okay, at the end of Capaldi's time, or at the beginning of Capaldi's time, there's removing Gallifrey into a pocket universe, which turns out to be in his possession. It becomes part of this compressed dial that he has with him, and then later on, all the Gallifreyans were turned into Cybermen, just like all the dead Earthlings were turned into Cybermen. So I just think it's really funny that death causes Cybermen. And so, you know, I'm just expecting like that would be a good story. Like all these.
Maybe the TV writers need to put their heads together and come up with something different.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're repeating themselves.
Yep. And I did like Dorian Moldovar. I remember the how he was kind of instrumental in both saving Amy and losing Amy, and fight, like the Good Man Goes to War and stuff like that. That he was instrumental in these things, and in this one it was pretty interesting. He had to fight like through that creature in the sparkly bits. And
to me he was sort of like he was sort of like a not a mob boss. It could have been like a mob boss, like a Jabba the Hutt type of character. You know, he's like a loan shark, or yeah, but because the Doctor owed him money.
Yeah,
the Doctor owed him a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, and he tried to get him to forgive the loan.
Yeah,
basically that was a little bit of what this sparkly stuff was. Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong, the characterizations are all right, but as I say, there's only so many stories you can put Dorian in I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was in two stories in the TV series, wasn't he? And then it returns in this. I think that's enough for me with him because there's only so much you can do with that character.
Okay.
But well played by Simon Fisher-Becker.
Yeah.
So
what's your final say and score?
Well, to be honest, I'll surprise you. I did enjoy this box set.
Go ahead, try to surprise me.
Well, Susan, did you know I did enjoy this box set?
All right.
And that's why I was persuaded when the second box set came out to buy it.
And now you're much happier because the second had nothing to do with narration.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the only downfall of this box set is the narration and the male impersonation of female characters, which I could do without.
Okay.
If they wanted to have the female characters in this, either try and get the proper actors or just get another actor to do a similar voice like Jacob Dudman is doing.
Oh, so like Lisa Bowerman could do it because Lisa Bowerman does everything, right?
Exactly, because to me, when you're listening to this, you've got the 11th Doctor in his gusto doing this, doing that, and then all of a sudden it goes to Amy or Clara, and it's Jacob Dudman.
Yeah, it is. It isn't.
No, it doesn't work. This is why I don't like the Companion Chronicles, because this is so similar, isn't it?
That's why it's named the 11th Doctor Chronicles.
Yeah, that was it. But I'm on about the Companion Chronicles. This is why what always puts me off the Companion Chronicles.
Okay.
Just give me audio drama, not narration.
All right.
Well, saying that, I did enjoy it because
it caused you to buy the next one.
Yeah, but also as well, some people are not keen on the 11th Doctor. I wasn't keen on the 11th Doctor when his sort of his first season appeared, but then as it went along, he grew on me. Because the more he went along, the more doctorish he became. And
eventually you ended up in a tree with him.
Exactly.
Like Moss.
Yeah, but yeah, so some people absolutely hate the 11th, but I don't mind. I've got a soft spot for the 11th. I mean, he's not my all-time favourite, but I wouldn't go diss him. Not like some of the others.
Yeah, I know.
I won't name names. But
well, I just like to find out what you really thought. What are your real? Put a numeric value on it, 1 to 10, 10 to 1.
Well, I'm not going to go too low, to be honest. But it's the narration and the annoying female characterization what's going to deduct it for me. So I'm going to give it 7.5 bow ties out of 10.
That's not bad at all.
That's what I mean. Yeah, if it just, I think to me it just needed tweaking. I mean, when the third Doctor adventure started, the first box set, what was it? Narration.
Yeah, it was.
And the fans weren't happy about that, really. And what did they do on the second box set? They got rid of the narration.
Yep.
So they must have listened again.
Yep, I think so too. And the fact that it was that this was produced by it was produced by
I've got it written here somewhere.
Scott Hancock. So I mean, and script edited by Matt Fitton, and written by A.K. Benedict, Simon Guerrier, Roy Gill, and Alice Cavender. That was pretty sweet. Anyway, Scott Hancock does a lot of great stuff, and so I'm sure that he listened up.
Directed by Helen Goldwyn as well, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that 7.5 is a lot higher than I thought you'd go, and so that is impressive. I guess
no one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Okay, and let's see. I think I'm going to give this. I think I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Sparkly bits coming with a beastie in the lighthouse.
Was this, by the way, the first time you've listened to this one?
Yeah, it was.
So did it come as a bit of a surprise how good Jacob was as the 11th?
No, I'd heard I'd heard that he did a really good job from some of my friends in Scotland and in New York and in Texas.
You close your eyes and he's just like it is Matt Smith.
Yeah,
he's got every voice mannerism.
He doesn't hit far from the mark at all. No, that was great. And the only thing that the only steps down for me are the fact that the overused sound effect of the sonic screwdriver, because I mean that could have been talked about using words and stuff, and it didn't always just have to be, just hit the sonic screwdriver again. Like 3 stories, it was just like constant use of the sonic screwdriver, and I can see how it's useful once in a while, but it's not. I mean, it's
if you look back on the series, they did actually overuse it, didn't they? Nearly in every story, it was sonic screwdriver.
But you see an action with that, and like the doctors, there's the doctor being extravagant or frightened or like all these other things that go along with that when it's on the screen, but when you don't see any activity at all, it's just like a noise, and you don't know how there's a bit of swashbuckling that the doctor does with the sonic screwdriver in the visual. Some of it's like and then evaluating it, and then evaluating it some more, and like a lot of waving it about, and I loved how they even made fun of that. They riffed on it. They took the Mickey out of it, because with John Hurt's War Doctor, he was like, what are you going to assemble a set of shelves for me? I mean, it's just like, heck. Yeah, I mean, it was of course there was lots of reuse and use of this, but the slightly annoying thing was how many times it was used in this, and without like the flourishes, because it wasn't written that the doctor flourished it or that he looked and like. Anyway,
I've got a question for you though.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you had your say to Big Finish and say, right, I would like the 11th Doctor audio, but I'd like him to meet up a audio doctor for a special story, which other audio doctor would you like the 11th to go with?
I would say I'd say the 8th Doctor, because he's got like that they both have that, like, devil may care attitude, and they both forget about so much stuff. I mean, they both have like got this like amnesiac thing going on, and that's just kind of.
So if Big Finish does watch these things, come on, guys, 11th and 8th together.
Yeah, their brains trying to figure out where in the heck they are. That would be really fun.
That would be good.
And the other thing that I would like to see is the 11th and the 2nd, just because, you know, Matt Smith claimed to have been really, really super inspired by Patrick Troughton. So go for it. Tie those together too. Okay, that's all.
Have you heard Michael Troughton as the Second Doctor?
No, I have not. Is it brilliant?
It's there, but as Michael Troughton said, he's adding his twist to it, but you can hear the Second Doctor.
Well, that's good. And I mean, I've always liked Fraser Hines and how he does the Second Doctor and stuff. So, you know, if Michael or David want to do it, more power to them. Anybody, you know, there was this guy that I knew, Bill Brewer, who had the voice down and the face down, and he did cosplay, and he did that. And then there was that guy Jacobson. Who did we do? We did a review of a audio adventure that was Chris Johnson.
Chris Chapman was it?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
He did a really great job with the Second Doctor. Anyway, tie the 11th and the 2nd and 11th and 8th because of forgetfulness and
well, they have done the 3rd and the 2nd one in the Annihilators just lately. That's
okay. I'm going to get onto that.
Pretty good. 7 episodes, but pretty good.
Good. Anyway, I better cut this short. Thanks for watching our podcast today. We invite you to subscribe to our channel, hit the bell notification button, and then also to stay tuned. We put out 2 of these things a week, so watch them all. I've just been doing a little binge watching of our podcasts of my own, and I think that we are really funny and a really enjoyable group of geeks, and then, you know, ask Lee if you want to join us. You got to be 18, have a camera, microphone, and some sort of tablet or device to join us on Zoom, and that's it. You're welcome to join us. And yeah, thank you, Lee. Have a great one, and Geronimo.